Hey, hey, black man. Wrote a letter to a black man. Keep stepping through it. Black man. You make it, you make it, you make it. Black man. You make it, you make it. Promise you can keep it real, dog. Yeah, you can keep it real. Pain is not forever, you can heal, dog. You know, and you will, dog. Oh yeah. You ain't gotta fake it, no. But you ain't gotta treat it like your heart is really vacant. Faking like you don't got no emotions, that don't make sense. I know you trying to get it going and been patient. Using every skill within you, even latent. Doing everything you can do just to make it. Cause you ain't made it, don't forget that yet though. Said you done gave it all to God, what you afraid for? Man, even Jesus got some scars, what you scared of? Too busy holding on to stuff should've been let go. See, when you scream into the void, it doesn't echo. But what you speak into existence will surely appear. But see, there ain't no GPS help you move through your fear. You gotta give yourself the drive, put you in the gear. Lack of it ruin your years. Listen to me, black man. Wrote a letter to a black man. Keep stepping through it, black man. You make it.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Letter to a Black Man, the podcast. I am your host, B. Bernardo, and I'm super excited to have you join me this evening for tonight's conversation. This conversation is definitely one that will motivate and inspire you to step outside of fear and to go after what it is that you ultimately desire to do. Today's topic is the wealth minded hustle, how to launch with limited resources. And I have what to me seems like a social media superstar, Mr. Donald Butler, who's taken over the internet now, joining me for this conversation. So put your virtual hands together while I introduce the CEO of Butler Squared Consulting, Mr. Donald Butler. Hey, what's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I said that you're a social media, you taking over social media because every single time I open up, it looks like 5 videos in.
You're not the only one to say that. I have nothing to do with it. Social media be pushing my stuff out.
But I'm not mad though. I'm not mad. I respect the grind. I respect the hustle. But I'm like, okay, listen, I'm you teach a master class because I need it. I need it. You teach the master because listen. And to go back just a little bit, like I know when I first tagged you in the initial flyer, I was about to delete the flyer. I text you, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I'm about to delete this. So I do. I'm super excited to have you on this conversation. I know that you are in your entrepreneurial bag, super heavy. So I'm super excited just to kind of pick your brain and to talk to you to help inspire other Black men like ourselves, like to be able to go in and hustle, get. I want to see more of us Black people on social media like you on there. Like I mean, I got to take. I got my notepad because I'm taking notes tonight. Taking notes. So, but
Well,
first,
I'm super thankful to be here.
Introduce yourself to us.
So I'm Donald Butler, the CEO of Butler Squared Consulting, which is an accounting firm providing accounting, tax, as well as business consulting services. We also have contracts. We do IT or cybersecurity work for state government. Um, I also am a professor at University of Maryland Global Campus. And sorry, you'll hear my grandbaby, so I'm a grandfather as well. She is 3 years old, but I have her with me, and while her mother is getting, well, my daughter is getting something done. Her nails, I treated her to nails, and but also I run a digital marketing agency, which is providing branding services as well as the magazine, and so I do quite a bit.
The wealth minded hustle. Like, listen, I mean, you got your hands in everything. So I'm super excited. Like, I think it's gonna be a good episode. So I'll just
This
jump
better
right.
be. It better be a good episode.
It will be. It
He
will
said,
be
I think
good.
it'll be. It better be. That's all we here for is a good episode. Like
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
you said, wealth mindset. So that's what we talking about.
Listen, get me right together then. Listen, it's going to be an amazing episode. It's going to be an amazing episode. So I really appreciate that. See, you starting out already. You have to shift our mindset because I'm like, oh, I think it. You like, no. See, you already starting out wrong. If you gonna think that it's gonna be a good episode, you already starting out wrong. So
Whatever a man thinketh, so is he, right?
listen, okay. So it's gonna be an amazing, a phenomenal episode. So I'm super excited. If you look over here, I have some questions that are over here to the side. So
You're my brother, so
let me get
we
my
having fun. We
yeah.
having fun.
So what does success look like to you in this season of your life?
Oh, that's interesting. To me, survival. Survival is success. I mean, I'm gonna tell you all this because we are brothers, and I want people to know that being a male, I enter into the zone of being a single male. Once again, after a 17, close to 18-year marriage, we were in relationship for 20 years, and I did not realize the impact that divorce has on a father, on a male. And so I connected with other brothers, not because I was trying to connect or being a part of any community or anything like that, but just from my barber experience and things. I have clients, so I do taxes. So I work with a lot of people, and so I come across many people, and I was able to identify with what they deal with. And I was like, wow, men, we actually are challenged trying to run a business, trying to live life, trying to pull things together, and still try to take care of our kids in a separate household. That can be a bit of a challenge. So if anything, I'm a testimony. When you said success, what does that look like for me? I'm a testimony, just connecting with other brothers in that aspect, that yeah, not all of us are able to raise our children in the same house, but what does that look like for the black male in today's society, being that we are hustlers, being that we own a business, and that can be a bit of a challenge. So the fact that I'm where I am now, it looks like success.
So if somebody looked at your journey now,
Hmm.
from where you were to where you are now, what do you think that they would say about, like, would they perceive you being this well kept, well groomed gentleman who doesn't have like, who's not privately struggling with something? Or like, what do you think they would say? Or have anybody said anything to you like that?
I think that people say to me right now is that they're living life through me. When they see my social media, they're interested, they're intrigued by what they see, and they're trying to figure out, how did you, well, Donald, you said what you said you want to do, you actually are doing it. So I heard various comments, and so what they don't see someone that's struggling or see someone that's having issues, because I don't put my business out there on social media anyway. But at the same time, we all go through something. But at the same time, I think that what they're seeing is just a person that's thriving through a situation of how did he, okay, I don't know how he did it, but Donald, you're definitely a great example for many of us to follow.
Absolutely. I would definitely say, like, seeing your social media from what I perceive of your social media, one, I'm like, okay, whatever he's doing, I need to be doing it. But two, it's like inspiring to, like, watching your videos, it makes me want to keep going. Like, I know when I relaunched this podcast, my thought process was I'm not going to look at any numbers. I'm not going to look at any statistics. I want to prove to myself that I can. So I did not. And then just like push the content out, push the content out, push the content out. And that's what I'm doing. As long as I know that I'm doing something that is uplifting, encouraging, empowering, like, and it's consistent all around the board, then that's definitely something. Like, I do take that from you. Like, when I say it's consistency on your end, it's consistency. And I sit back and I watch. It's like, I mean, you make me watch, so you make me watch. And it's like, how do you have time to do social media, and all of your business adventures that you're doing, and you still remain consistent? So as a younger brother looking up to you, I'm like, yeah, he's staying consistent. I must stay consistent as well, because it's gonna pay off.
Absolutely. That's the thing. Staying consistent is very important, whether you feel like it or not. But we're in a different generation. We're in a different time, in our history where business is done on social media. And people are making billions of dollars through social media. They're making millions of dollars on social media. And the question is, how do you do that? And one is building that audience, building the community, letting people know you exist, and providing that, content that they're looking for. And sometimes you have to change it up and figure out what works for some and, what works for others. But, just staying consistent, like you said. So for me, it's taking out a little bit of time, I like to enjoy the moment. Let's say I have my grandbaby here, so I'm enjoying the moment with her. But at the same time, that could be also a moment that I capture and say, "Hey guys, I'm actually a grandfather, and actually I'm enjoying my granddaughter, the fact that she's here, and I may capture a little bit of that." But how long does somebody want to see that? Like 3 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds? That doesn't take that long. So if you capture that a little bit, it could be very impactful, and actually it can go viral depending on how you package it and put it out there, and depending on the platform as well.
Okay, so I know that you established Butler Squared Consulting, but your new endeavor, which is the social media, and it may not be new, but I think recently I've just, like, I'm like, listen, this man is on social media. Like, it's like, you give very much, you are one of the who's who. I see you at fashion shows, like I see you doing photo shoots, and when I tell you, I commend that, because watching you, like, in that lane, I'm like, I'm gonna have to get me a ticket. I want to meet you in person. I definitely want to meet you in person, because I feel that, like, what you're putting out is consistent, and just to kind of sit up under and take some notes from you, take some education from you. Like, you see that you offer, like, classes, and I just saw something scroll across recently, because again, I feel like I only have one friend on Facebook, and my friend is Donald Butler.
Listen, I'm here.
So I definitely I commend the hustle, because I know if you're inspiring and encouraging me, what other Black men are you inspiring and encouraging? Let's see. What does hustle look like for you? Like, hustling. When do you sleep?
So hustle. Yes, when do I sleep? When I fall asleep. So hustle looks like this. Like, I can't. So just to give a kind of bit of a history of my experience, I've been an auditor for over 25 years, and through my business, I still do audits. That's why I say IT security, cybersecurity work. And when I first started off as an auditor, I was working for the big four CPA firm, Deloitte. So some of you may know Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Ernst & Young, KPMG. those firms, like, you work hours and hours, and they teach you like that this is your business. This is, you're running your own practice, and you have to take that client like it's really your baby. And the hustle started then. Like, I didn't, like, it was constantly busy. I worked like 70, 80 hours a week. And if you're not working, you're studying for a certification. And being in that atmosphere is like, it challenges you. So it's like, your colleagues that you're working with, somebody that's sitting in the desk next to you or somewhere around, in the firm, what certification are you going for? Because once you get to a certain point, okay, I got another certification. What are we working towards next? So that kept me upbeat, that kept me always going. And being in that environment just, challenged me. It wasn't always happy times, trust me. It was a lot. But at the same time, it taught me the hustle side of it. And so when I was able to start my own business, I had no expectations besides hustle. It's like, if you're going to grow something, you have to be consistent. You have to figure out which is a sales pitch. Who is your clients? What does that look like? And what products or services are you selling? And if you need to shift, you need to shift to a different thing. But that's something that we learned in the Big Four that really enhanced our capabilities to get out here and survive as business owners. So that's really where it come from.
Yeah. So I would say when growing up, who or what gave you permission to believe that you could build something out of nothing?
Wow, that's a real big question. Build something out of nothing. I would have to say that inspiration really came from um, God Himself,
Mhm.
because He's a creator. He created the world from nothing. At least that's what I believe. And so when we look at everything that exists in the world today, so there's a guy named Bob Proctor, and he studied under Napoleon Hill. Bob Proctor actually was connected to Nichols or something. Lisa Nicole Nichols, I think that's her name. So
Mhm.
sorry, I got so many names in my head. But she's a speaker, and you know, he has a book that I read. So like things like Think and Grow Rich, those types of books. Everything that exists, this was back probably like 2018. Everything
Mhm.
that exists started from here. Everything that exists started here. And so when you think about creating something out of nothing, it's more like it started here, and you write that thought down. That's why, even when you think about like vision boards and stuff, writing it down is so important, and understanding what it is that you want. I just had a conversation with somebody the other day. I said, write the script of your life, where you're headed. Because if you didn't write down a script, what are you going to follow? And so that's really what it comes down to, is like, what is here, and putting it on paper,
Mhm.
and forging it the way forward. Because when you start a business, when you start something like a business, it's really spiritual. It's way beyond something
Mhm.
that's physical touch, because you have to believe it exists first and here. So
And I would definitely say that that's powerful because as you were talking, like I know that I have like some friends, and then I watch some social media, like I follow some people on social media, and two things came to mind. It is from an old movie, and the movie just slipped my mind, but the saying is, "If you build it, they will come." Then you have then like I follow a lady named T.S. Madison on Instagram and on YouTube. She always says, "I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know. Like I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know." And to me, like hearing that, I will even go to say, since I've turned 35, like hearing those words, "If you build it, they will come," and then I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know, that has, I would say, relit the fire that was on the inside of me because it was always a fire there, but it was more so of I'm limited on what I know or who I know. Like I don't know a lot of people, or you feel like you have to know the who's who, and it doesn't come how you how you expect it. And I think I'm a big visionary. So I see things big, I see things grand, but then I'm like, ooh, let me go and get like then I have to water it down because I never saw the process. I see the end result. I see the end result, but I never saw the process. And the process is scary. It does make you feel like what's happening. Like, am I qualified to accomplish it? So, just hearing what you were saying, just about staying consistent and all of that, just came back to the mindset of if you build it, they will come. So if you don't do anything, if you don't start anything, if you don't it all starts with a vision. It all starts with a thought. And the creator gives you those thoughts because you're here for a purpose. So if you build it, they will come. You may not know when, you may not know how, but just know, you have to believe in your heart's of heart that if it came to your mind, it can manifest. So that was something that when you said that, it was that's all I kept hearing. If you build it, if you build it, I don't know when, I don't know how. So when I relaunched this podcast, it was I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know. If I they will come.
It's just like what you just said. You started this podcast, and look what you have. You've had people that join your podcast that if you didn't start this, you would not have any of these videos. So that's that's major. And congrats to you because you believe in something that would come about, whether you have 5 people or 20 people. It's the fact that you did it. And I think that's the key. You're touching on something that I speak about quite often, knowing your assignment.
Mm-hmm.
If you do your assignment, it doesn't matter who's in the room. You did your assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we're looking for accolades, we're looking for awards, and we've heard people, even celebrities, get upset because they didn't win an award or something. But the thing is, if this is what you were supposed to do, there's a greater reward waiting for you. There's nothing man can do to reward you for something that you did that was your assignment to do. But it's nice to be honored, of course. But really, is this your assignment? My business is my assignment.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody said, Donald, do you love accounting? I hate accounting. I'm good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But would I quit? No. But it's not something that I love because there's a lot of legal responsibilities when it comes down to accounting. And a lot of people, get into having their own business, but you don't even realize the legal side of accounting. But you're attempting to handle your own books, which is fine. But at the same time, there's levels to this. And when I spent hours and hours studying for a degree, studying for certifications, working in the field for hours and hours, this is nothing that you can just take lightly and say, oh, I just have a business. It really does have legal ramifications if you do things the wrong way. And so that's why I don't really enjoy it, because you got a message you have to speak to the small business owner that don't get that the IRS don't have a measuring stick to say you're big or you're small. What they require for Walmart is the same thing they require for this little ABC company over here. So there's no difference with that. But I believe that I was sent as a messenger from that big firm, background, having that experience, that exposure, to tell the small business owner, yes, take this stuff serious, because you don't want to, get to a point that it piles up into penalties and interest. And, now you're stressed because you can't really enjoy your business as much because you haven't kept up with the work that needs to be done. So that's why I say I don't like it as much, but it's more so, it's my responsibility. So I don't mind helping people. So I think that the key thing is my assignment, I'm doing it, but the results are I've helped people. I've helped a lot of people. So, but yeah, that's really, very powerful what you said.
Absolutely. So I would say, what sacrifices did you have to make that people did not?
My family um, so that's a good question because a lot of us we don't talk about having a business as a family, and I
Mhm.
think in our culture we're still struggling to balance what a family looks like with the business.
Mhm.
And I've seen it with clients, with people that go through therapy and stuff. um this is a lot to run a business, and your schedule is not 9 to 5 if this is your source of income. Now
Mhm.
if you have a job and you have a business, yeah, you can be like, yeah, I'm not gonna worry about business today. But like me, this is how I eat, this is how I take care of myself, this is how I take care of my son. My son is an employee of my company. So when I'm thinking about, oh, Donald, you got to get up and go to work, is not so I'm taking care of myself and say, oh yeah, I got this going, that going. I'm thinking about my son. I got to make sure he eats. He called me up, Dad, I don't have any food. Can you send me some money? I'm like, boy, how much did you eat? He's 17. So what do you expect? So
Mhm.
that's something that you take into consideration of the sacrifices that you make. And being in business, it is a sacrifice, but starting looks like a major grind. But your thing is, what you want to work towards is to build the business that you can walk away from and it still runs. As
Mhm.
Robert Kiyosaki says, Oprah says, if you can't walk away from your business, you have no business. So I hire an assistant, I hire an accounting team, I hire people that's going to help me to free up, because the biggest thing, your biggest asset is I would say your health, but also your time.
Mhm.
And if you're taking time to work, that takes time from your family. So the biggest thing is, how do I buy back my time? And that means that you have to invest in the help. Oh my God, I don't want to spend money on an accountant. I don't want to spend money on somebody that, an admin. I don't want to spend money. But that's how you grow.
Mhm. And I think that that is necessary to hear that. And I appreciate you saying that because I think as men, oftentimes we are made to be the providers, or that's our role to be the providers. And when we're the providers, that is long hours, that is sleepless nights, that is time away from your home, trying to just show up and make sure. So you will sacrifice family, but like you say, if you do things the right way and you get a team of people, and as men we have to learn how to delegate. We can't take on everything. We have to, hey, can I get you to do this? Can I get you to do this? Which is hard. Don't get me wrong. It is hard to delegate, but I feel that it is necessary to delegate because time is something you cannot get back. Um, if you did, you
Let
know
me
it
tell
was.
you, it gets easier because I'm at the point I don't even do my own nails anymore. I'm like, look, I hire somebody to do my nails. I don't have the time. If I can hire somebody to do anything, I'm hiring somebody to do it so I can focus on making money. And it's not so much chasing money, but I'm saying I need to focus on serving clients, preparing content as you see me for social media to build that side of the business so I can be able to leverage that and pay other people to support me. It's like, where's your support team? Where's, we can say your entourage or whatever, but where's your support team? Where are the people that can help you? Because there's like, I have a client that hired a videographer that also edited his videos. And because he hired that person, my client went viral. He went viral. He didn't have to do all that stuff. He hired somebody to do it. And now he has over 3 million followers on Instagram. He's getting brand deals that he's actually closing deals, like making one post that he's making over $100,000. So hiring people can definitely propel you to success, or leverage that help to help you to make more money in your business. So you have to look at it as an asset.
Absolutely. And I would definitely say that that is like where my mindset has been. Because with, I would say, even with just again me coming back to bring relaunching this podcast, I I've started investing in things behind the scenes. So therefore, when the time is right and I like, because I like season two, season three, like I'm investing in stuff now. So when I go into those different seasons, the production of it looks better. Like because having to do everything, it does kind of get a little exhausting. It gets like, oh, is it even worth it? But you still have to keep going. And I do not want to stop because, like, my stepdad told me, he was like, you can't keep starting and stopping. And what I heard was if people are going to take you as serious as you take yourself. So if you keep starting something and stopping, starting and stopping, nobody's gonna take you serious because they're like, okay, he'll be here for a couple of weeks, and then he's gonna leave, and then he'll be back in a couple of years. So if you're not consistent, nobody's gonna even see. They'll think you the boy that cried wolf. You the boy that cried wolf. So that is definitely like what I am working on. So definitely delegating and hiring and bringing on people to know, like to help me perfect what it is that I ultimately am going to be doing. So thank you for speaking on that because as men, we don't know how to delegate. So take time for ourselves and to just put delegate. That's pretty delegate. You ain't got to be super
Yeah, you
strong.
must do that. That is no, that's very true, and that's what we do have to get to. Like, and I mean, and I'll tell you, even women they do it too. So it's not just a male thing, but we as a people we tend to say, "I'll just do it myself because it's going to be done right,"
Mm-hmm.
and that's true. But you doing it keeps you in a situation that you're tied to having to show up every day, that
Mm-hmm.
you don't have that freedom to walk away and actually enjoy the fruits of your labor as much. So
Mm-hmm.
there is that bit of balance that you have to bring. So, I would say, then I'm being a little bit transparent because of my own situation, but I would say, being that my ex-wife, she thought this is grind is forever. I said, no, this is not forever. This is not my forever. My strategy is to make enough money to hire somebody to replace me. So when I show up, it's more so strategic planning, strategic thinking,
Mm-hmm.
speaking with leaders, not getting down into the weeds of things. I'm not a worker like that. I'm not in the world, in the job they call it a worker bee, but I'm not a worker bee. And so I'm like, no, I'm a leader and I want to make sure that I build a team that can help me to lead versus being that person that's having to show up every day because I know that can be exhausting. Trust me, you can have somebody to start a cleaning business, but when they get to a certain age, they're going to get tired of cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like you need your team, you need other people to help you clean property because you're constantly showing up to do the work. It gets exhausting. It's a wear and tear on your body. You can
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it, you can love it, but if you don't have people that you can delegate to assist you, it could be very much more, stressful to your body. Maybe may not mentally, but just your
Mm-hmm.
body physically is gonna, you'll see that eventually.
Absolutely. So I would say when launching your businesses or just kind of launching out on any particular project that you've endeavored on, um, have you always had the resources to do so? And if not, what kept you going?
Good question. So no, I did not. What kept me? So let's think about when I started. So I started my business in 2019, Butler Squared Consulting. I started in 2019, and I thought, how am I going to make money? And I had to come up with the pitch. I had to think about what is my sales strategy? Who are my clients? Small business owners, obviously, entrepreneurs, people that barely make any money, like they need help. But I work in a necessary industry that everybody needs their taxes done. So
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where, I can, kind of like paint that picture of why somebody could hire me versus going down the street to hire another person. Come here. And so I know, come here. So, one second. All right, here. And so So with doing that, I was like, I need to make sure I can balance what I need to do to go after these clients. And I didn't have business funding, but my clients were starting to pay me, and that's how I started building. So, thankfully at the time, so I wasn't like single, but my ex-wife, her income balanced things out to start things off. But it took at least about a year to really start building clients. But networking is so important. Even reaching back to your, people that you worked with in the past. So one of the biggest things that I had was a good relationship from one of the firms I worked for. Um, the He was a coworker. He went to another company, and he said, "Donald, I know you have your own business. You want to join our company as our partner? Like, we can hire you to do the cybersecurity work." And I said, "Sure." So you never want to burn bridges, because those relationships that you built as a coworker actually become an asset to you when you have your business, because you never know what kind of services you can. I don't care if you do digital marketing, like you help with print ads or whatever like that. They could leverage your services versus hiring somebody else because they know your work is really good. So, so you think about those kind of relationships that you can foster. Go to Chamber of Commerce, join other networking groups that you can connect with, because whatever services or products that you have, the the stronger you build your network, the more likely you are to be successful in getting new clients, getting new customers. They want to know that you exist. And you can't be afraid to step out and open your. I'm an introvert, honestly, and so I know a closed mouth is not going to bring about wealth. You have to talk. You have to, and I'm not. There are people that, in other words, you have to communicate. Because there are other ways of communicating as well. But you have to communicate. I exist, and I'm trying to do business with you.
Absolutely. Well, that is definitely an introvert. That part is kind of powerful. Okay. Okay, I'll let you have that one. I'll let you have that. I would not know that. And I think, but again, that means you're doing business the right way.
Oprah's an introvert.
Okay.
So it's like being an introvert but extroverted.
Okay.
I forgot what they call that, but it's because we know how to network, we know how to talk, we know how to communicate with people when it's time. But ultimately, people think I'm always out, but most of the time I'm by myself. Like literally, like I am by myself, and that's the most peaceful place, is to be alone. And I don't want to say alone like a bad thing, but it's more like I thrive in the space of being by myself, because I can be creative. Not so loud. I can be creative without the noise and without people all around me. So, being an introvert is not, it's not a weakness. It's just more like there's strength in being a introvert. So yeah. And I do apologize to the listeners. I have my grandbaby, and she's being herself, but I need to entertain her.
No, you're perfectly fine. I appreciate it. But definitely being able to network. I know networking is absolutely a big part of like doing business. Networking is definitely necessary when trying to get new clientele. Because again, I know like I'm from Alabama, so I was doing things back in Alabama, and I was like, okay, but I felt like I was around the in crowd, and then when I no longer associated with the in crowd, I'm like, well, don't nobody know me now, so it's like having to start all the way back over. But I definitely networking and just putting yourself out there. Again, that goes back to nobody's going to take you as serious as you take yourself. So if that is a post, staying consistent with posting, networking, never meeting a stranger, which people crazy in the world. So you have to meet people, but just kind of being open to meeting people and just having a conversation and sharing, hey, well, this is what I have going on. Even I know like now that I have like this shirt and I have some other shirts that I'm working on, like even when I go out into the public, like that's a conversation starter because I feel like I'm approachable, but my face may not say that. So it's like just being able to have something that you can have a conversation or pick up a conversation on is an easy way to network as well. So that's
Absolutely. That is one of the biggest things. That's one of the biggest things is being able to network with people, communicate with people, help people understand I exist. This is what I do, and feel comfortable with sharing it. Um, we live in a culture now that people are more willing to do business with you
mhm.
if you are, approachable, and like you said, you have a shirt. You have hold on. You having a shirt? She's asleep. I know. Come here. I know. Actually, my daughter is getting ready to come in, so she came. She's coming right on time. I know. It's okay. But but yeah. So you want to be approachable for people. It's okay. Look, say hi to the camera. Look, they watching you. She likes the camera. So just being able to be approachable for people to talk to you. So they want. So basically, people want to be able to trust you.
Yes.
I know. Do you trust me? They want to be able to trust you, and that's what my clients say to me. They say, Donald, I know I can trust you, and the fact that they can trust me, it's okay. They don't mind spilling out their tax frustrations, their social security number, their birthdays, everything that you can take to steal someone's identity. They're giving it to me, and so I appreciate you all that's on here. You all understand, kids are kids, and and she's fine, but
Absolutely.
they are people want to be able, even if you're selling soap, I need to know that I can trust you.
Mhm.
And so when people know they can trust you with, that purchase, like, I don't care about you selling me the soap, but how is it going to do me some good? And I trust what you're telling me. So you want to sound approachable. You want to sound like, they can trust you, that you care about their skin over more so than just making money, you know?
Absolutely. So what would you say to a man that is listening, or because it is letter to a black man, but I know that there are women that listen to it as well. So what would you say to a listener that works 9 to 5, has a family, has a dream, but fear will not let them go? Like, what would you say to them? Fear is holding them back.
So and it's interesting because I would say you can't just let go of fear.
Mhm.
You have to approach it with the fear, and you got to understand, where's the fear coming from? Fear of rejection, because in business you would be rejected at times. you know um Sometimes you will be rejected. Sometimes people will say, I don't want your services, and then you're upset because of that rejection. So the fear, what is the fear? And trust me, people will tell me, I moved on, I don't need you, to do my taxes anymore.
Mhm.
And I have to be okay with that. And I'm saying that can be hard. One of the things that I would say, just being in business overall, you have to form uh like kind of a tough skin.
Mhm.
And even if you don't have tough skin getting in it, you want to surround yourself with people that can support you and encourage you. Because again, having the fear, go into it with the fear.
Mhm.
Don't stop yourself because of fear. And but I've seen people allow fear to stop them. And the thing is that you may have something that will impact somebody else. Like your platform, if you allow fear to stop you, you don't know where that message could go that can help somebody else, that they could say, your podcast helped me keep going. And
Mhm.
yet if you would have let it stop you, they wouldn't have heard that message.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that because, again, not letting go of fear, but just identifying what fear it is. Because I would go to say that sometimes fear may save you, Because if you just say I don't have no fear and you just run out, you run into the unknown. So you kind of open yourself up for attack because you kind of feel or you seem to be gullible. But I would say if you identify what your fear is, it would definitely help you to navigate, help you to process, help you to understand what does next look like for you. So fear is important, but you can't just dwell in fear. I would definitely say don't dwell in fear, but fear is necessary. Um, what is the biggest risk that you took that actually paid off?
Calming her down at the same time. Okay. So one of the biggest risks that I took, it's okay. One of the biggest risks that I would say I took that paid off is starting. It's starting. Being able to start. It's okay. She's on her way. That was one of the biggest risks because the thing is, you don't know what the future looks like once you start.
Mhm.
And to predict the failures that you're going to experience, to predict the successes that you're going to experience, you don't know what you're going to experience when you start. But starting is a risk. Now, you can have a calculated start, meaning like educate yourself. If you're going to do real estate investing, educate yourself. That is a risk. What if somebody don't pay their rent, because you have a long-term rental situation? What if I have an Airbnb? What does that look like? Research, 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 network, get with people that knows the market. You don't want to buy a property that you don't even know nothing about it. Even barbers, let's take a barber shop. Do you want walkable clients walking up to the shop? Because the way things are now, you don't really have walkable barbershop, but it depends on what area you're into.
Mhm.
But you have to understand, like, what does that look like for you? Because if I don't have people walking up to the shop, that's going to impact my bottom line. But if I'm appointment only, I got to get my message out there that I exist because it could be up and down. I don't have people walking up and down the street looking for a barber. So that's one of the biggest risks is starting.
Absolutely. Um, getting started is fearful. But again, it's not how you start. It is more so of just going, like getting started, like putting fear behind you and just saying, like speaking to yourself. If it's a thought, you can do it. If it's I believe that, and I believe in God. So I believe that if God gave me the thought, He's gonna give me the tools to make it work the way that I need it to work. So I definitely starting, just start. That's it.
Just start. That's it.
Just start.
And look, Glory, my daughter just walked in, so the grandchild is happy. We're all
Absolutely,
relieved. But yeah, so starting is like the biggest thing. So once you start, but once you get over that hump of starting,
mhm.
it's like you're good. You start getting traction. You start, feeling better about your network, about the people that you're connected with. So don't hesitate to start.
And I would even go to say when I restarted this, this has been a learning process for me because you get to work out kinks and you get to see, and like I welcome feedback. I welcome, like, how did you think about this episode? I would honestly say sometimes I do not go back until maybe weeks later to listen to the episode, but I will go back and just kind of critique myself. Like I'll welcome others to tell me what did they think about it, but then I'll go back and I'll listen to it. Like I'll sit with myself. I enjoy water, so I may go sit by some water on my lunch break and just listen to the episode and say, okay, well, I could have asked this, or did I not do this, or did I not ask this correctly? So it helps to, one, for me to know how to perfect the next episode. So I would definitely say I've learned a lot within even just restarting or just starting back up. I've learned a lot, but it's important because it lets me know, like, you work out the kinks through the process. You work out the kinks, and if you don't work out the kinks, then you just, or if you're not teachable when you start, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. And I know that you mentioned earlier that your son is an employee of your company. What
Yes.
does setting up legacy look like, um, so that you can move on to something else and allow him to run?
That's a good question. So he gets trained on accounting, tax, marketing, and even some administrative stuff. I told him one day when I was traveling, I said, "You're my personal assistant." So he was like, "Okay." So he needs to know what that looks like. And I told him it's not so much that he needs to do the work when he gets older, like just doing everything, but just be familiar. I want you to know how to handle the business taxes. I want you to understand how to manage the books, because when you hire somebody else, you got to know this stuff yourself. Like this is what this firm is about. And so it's critical that he knows how to do it. So if I don't exist, he can continue with the business. But understanding ownership doesn't mean that you have to work. Ownership means just that you own the business. You can hire the experts to run the business, and so just knowing what that looks like, because people can be afraid, or they're like, my kids don't want to take over the business, because we never really taught them what taking over the business really looked like. They don't want to.
Hmm.
We're still, I would say, we're still heavy on the first year or first generation business owners, first generation millionaires. This is all still new, so we have to have patience with our children. We have to teach them, what that looks like if they did take over, and giving them the strategy, like talk strategy with them. What does it look like? Like we have strategy meetings on our jobs, but we forget to have strategy meetings with our families to let them know this is a strategy for our business and this is our strategy for our legacy, so that they'll know that there's a bigger plan, there's a bigger vision, there's a bigger, goals that we're working towards, and
Hmm.
where they fit into into those plans.
Absolutely. So I would say I've enjoyed the conversation with you. My final question for you, and we'll wrap it up, is what is next for Donald Butler? Social media influencer, CEO. And shall I continue? Is a book coming? Is a book coming?
Yeah. So I would say this. What's next? I'm working on my biggest opportunity ever, and that is to land brand deals myself. And today, I actually was doing a practice run for my team to see an example brand commercial or marketing video, and which can land me big opportunities, and sell products on like TikTok and go viral. It's a whole strategy, it's a whole plan that goes behind it. It's not just, oh, let me produce a video and just put it out there. It really is a whole process, and learning that strategy is major. So I'm challenging myself to do that. And so I would say that's the next thing. I'm already in the fashion industry, working with designers, models, photographers, videographers, all that type of stuff. We're doing branding, but I would say in a bigger way is elevating that platform, that they'll see more of that. That you'll see more behind the scene footage of brand shoots, and being able to help clients to produce material that someone else will say, yeah, I want that, or I need that, service they provide, or yeah, I want to buy that book, or I want to, support their workshop, whatever that looks like. But we basically working to get that done. And by the end of this year, you said a book. By the end of this year, I want my team to help, produce a spread for our magazine, B Squared Collective. You can find us on Instagram, B Squared Collective. Where you find me, you'll find all my businesses, Donald L. Butler. Donald L. Butler Butler, is on all social media platforms.
Mhm.
And so that's how you'll find anything that I'm working on. But we want to do a spread for the end of the year to focus on fashion as it was throughout this year, but what is coming up for 2026.
Okay, awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate. Let me say this: I appreciate you showing up, and I appreciate you still even answering questions, even with your grandbaby in there. I was not. I was good. I was totally good. You
Thank you.
still kept see, you were in work mode. You were in hustle mode. You were in hustle mode, but
This
I
is in action. This is in action.
listen, live and in action, the wealth-minded hustle. Like, I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the dialogue. I appreciate you for just sitting with me and having this conversation. And I'm super excited to continue to network with you and just see what the future holds for both of us. I'm gonna get viral too. I'm going to be viral. I'm going to be viral with.
Absolutely.
I'm going to be
Absolutely.
viral.
Keep going.
So I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the dialogue, and I thank you. I don't know what to thank you.
You know,
Thank you for.
I'll share this with you. The one of the keys, because there's several things that goes on. One of the keys to going viral is, what is your hook? What is your hook? Letter to Black Man. There's got to be a hook to that. And when you identify that hook, it will then generate more views. People are going to come in and they're going to be like, oh, I need to see this. Um, and each social media platform works similar but different.
Mhm.
The algorithm, like the algorithm, is really what's key, and understanding what the algorithm is looking for. The algorithm, one of the things they look for is engagement.
Mhm.
Are you engaging? And are so if you're engaging with other people, the algorithm will then see they can feed stuff to you or feed your stuff to other people because you're
Okay.
engaging. So increase engagement. And then you to invoke engagement on yours is like asking the questions. What are your thoughts about the next podcast? What are your thoughts about the podcast that just happened? Where you're getting people to engage. So it's like having the conversation through social media. You don't have the person sitting in front of you, but you have to imagine that they're there, but
Mhm.
they're looking for that engagement. They're looking for that question that you have.
Perfect. I thank you. I definitely will note that, and we gonna be up there at a fashion show in the front row, going viral.
Come on, come on, come
Listen,
on.
we will. Thank you so much again for this episode, and I
Thank
look
you.
forward to us connecting again here soon. Do you have
Listen,
any
your
final
family.
words?
So just let me know. No, for final words, I would say to any person that's looking to start a business or have a business, build your network, build your community, just don't quit. One of the things I asked the CPA, asked in a CPA firm like Deloitte, the partners that were there, I said, how did you make partner level? And I almost feel emotional saying it, but they said, don't quit. Now, you got to think some things we do have to quit because if people don't want what you got, you're going to have to rethink what I'm doing. But it's not so much quitting saying I give up, but it's more like a realignment, a
Yeah,
shifting, shift your focus. And but yeah, don't quit. Keep going.
absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Donald, for the conversation. Thank you so much for all those who tuned in, asked questions. Tune in for our next episode. Um, yeah, you left me with a lot to think about. You left me with a lot to eat on, and I know if you left me this way, you left those viewers this way as well. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
no problem, and have a good evening.
You too.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Letter to a Black Man, the podcast, where it was the Wealth-Minded Hustle, how to launch with limited resources with my special guest, Mr. Donald Butler. It was an amazing conversation. Hopefully you walk away with some tips to strive and to go forward in business. If you have a vision, if you have a business idea, if you have a book title, if you have anything that needs to come out, definitely get started and don't quit.